I bought this Ryobi 10-inch planer, old one. I have no idea how old, but I bought it at a garage sale and it come with brand new blades, which is sharp as a razor. Even the old blades that are pitted areas are very sharp, but I couldn't find anything online to tell you how to take this one apart. I seen where one person had about a 12 or 13-inch planer, but it was totally different, and the way you took it apart was way different than this one, so I just decided to take this one apart. And this is to help anyone that has a real old one. This actually says that this is a 10-inch Ryobi 10-inch planer, model AP10, 8,000 RPMs, and it was made in Japan. So that tells you a pretty good idea how old it probably is. So I did start taking it apart because I wasn't sure what I was actually going to run into, but it is pretty simple. You got a bolt here and a bolt here, and if you take them off, you remove this cover, and here's your blade. And this blade has 6 different bolts, and they turn to the left to loosen. And when you lift this up, there's 2 steel pins in here. Well, they're actually not pins, they look like pins, but they when you take this out, I had to use a screwdriver to help lift it out. The whole thing's one assembly. You just don't want to. You want to be careful so you don't cut your fingers, because even though it's dull, it's still pretty sharp. Well, ain't that wonderful? So once you lift this whole piece out of here, it's sitting flush with something else, so okay. Just want to be careful you don't cut your fingers when you try to lift this out of here. Even though it's dull for wood, it's sharp for your regular fingers. But you pull this whole blade out of here, and like I said, there's 6 small bolts that go in here that you turn to the left to take out. Well, on the back, there's 2 Phillip head screws, and you loosen them, and that drops your whole blade assembly. And basically you just press it back, pretty much press it back in line. That's from what I seen when I was taking this one here apart. But you want to make sure that your bevel is facing up when you put this back together. But it's pretty simple. But I can see here, they're not bad nicks, but there's lots and lots of nicks. Some places very dull, some places very, very sharp. But on this new blade, it's razor sharp. Like I said, I got this at a garage sale, and it came with new blades. So I cleaned it up, put on a new cord, and now I decided to go ahead, since it's raining outside and can't do a lot, and put this back together. Then you just put these 2 Phillip head screws back in here. When you put it, once you start putting it back together, you want to get everything tight, but you don't want those 6 bolts. You don't want to over tighten, because to me they're thin and small enough that you could end up breaking it. But this just seats all the way back. You just make sure it's all the way back, and then put these screws down in place, these Phillip head screws, That should automatically line everything up. Then once you got those two screws in holding that, they go down into a slot, and everything just falls back into place. And that's it. And then it's a matter of just tightening it up, putting your screws in. Don't tighten one real tight. Just tighten all of them a little bit at a time. Then go back and tighten them all a little, again a little bit at a time. But that should make a big difference. Something very simple. I just wasn't sure whether I wanted to mess with it or not. Didn't really know that much about it. But hope this helps somebody, because I'm sure there's other people that has these real old ones from Japan. Ryobi 10-inch planer.